So giving an update on the situation surrounding the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Now, thankfully, it's still up and functional. It hasn't been destroyed, it hasn't been damaged in any meaningful way. There is no radioactive material leaking or anything like that. We're still where we were just a week ago, before all of the discussion about potentially this dam, you'll see why I said dam just a bit ago, or just now. But surrounding the nuclear power plant, everything seems to be relatively stable at this point. But I don't think we're out of the woods yet. And the reason is because the Russian government and its proxy governments in the occupied territories of Ukraine that surround Zaporizhzhia, those governments have released documents that mirror almost exactly those documents they published right before destroying the Novokakhovka Dam. And it's so close that you could actually remove the hydroelectric power station portion of the policies and input nuclear power stations in their place, and it's almost exactly the same document. So Russia just released this in the last day or so. The first policy, which was mirrored exactly in the hydroelectric power station policy, was there will be no new investigations of any nuclear accidents in the new territories. And by new territories, they mean the Russian occupied territories, for 5 years. So no investigations for 5 years. If something were to happen at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, they're just going to let it ride. They also said the second policy is the Russian nuclear agency bears no responsibility for any nuclear incidences that take place around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. And this is going to be, this is an official policy, not necessarily just for Russia. It's more like signaling to the rest of the world, hey, whatever happens to this power plant, we ain't doing a damn thing about it, and y'all can't make us. And that's essentially what that is. And then finally, and this is even more disgusting, their third policy that came out in this memo says Russian citizens affected by a nuclear incident will not receive compensation. And this is part of their evacuation efforts, but if there are Russians that generally stay in that region, they won't receive compensation. But what's interesting is the thought process here. Originally, when you see previous documents describing various regions in the Donbass, whether it's Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, anything surrounding Zaporizhzhia, all of these regions that Russia occupies, they talk about them being Russian. They are Russians. The Russian military is going in to liberate Russians from the oppressive hands of Ukraine. We all know that's complete bullshit, but that's the line they've said. Well, now in this policy, they said Russian citizens affected by the nuclear incident will not receive compensation. So what they're saying is all of you declared Russian citizens that live in Ukraine that will be, and they most definitely will be, affected by the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, perhaps getting damaged or destroyed, you're not going to receive any kind of compensation from Russia for that. So just more cynical, disgusting policies coming out, and these policies mirror the days before the days before the Novokakhovka Dam was destroyed. And does this mean that Russia is going to destroy the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant? I do not know that at all. I don't think anybody knows. But it doesn't look good because it seems to be mirroring just recent historical events surrounding the Novokakhovka Dam. But we'll see.